Hello, everybody. We'll be talking to you today about trusted AI, and especially about how to actually implement trusted AI with this practical vision that doesn't appear on the screen. Could we get? Yes, okay, fantastic. I'm Yannick Martel from Capgemini, and my role is to help our client achieve success with AI by implementing it in the right way, and it includes the building trust around AI. And I'm with Vincent, who's going to present himself.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Yannick. My name is Vincent de Montalivet, and my role at Capgemini is to help basically our customer to achieve their sustainability goals. It could be carbon emission reduction or energy optimization, or to tackle some specific sustainability targets. It's about adding some new KPIs, some measurement, some new dashboard analytics, or even more implementing specific algorithmic for that purpose.
Okay, so basically AI is something that's very important for Capgemini, and it's part of the group priorities. We realize that to actually implement AI, we need to build trust and to meet some ethical requirements. And typically what we find is that 9 out of 10 organizations worldwide struggle with actually implementing AI due to the ethical challenges. And on the other hand, users, citizens, customers, they also expect some kind of regulation for AI use cases, and they expect some safeguarding of some kind. So it seems like there is a topic of trust in AI. We can examine if you can really trust in AI, and we've seen a number of failures on different aspects, which could endanger the trust in AI. For instance, we've seen that a lot of employees at large companies are protesting against the way their company is using AI for some type of usage, and asking for more global, more involvement in the fight against global warming. We've seen also some failures in data, and we've seen a lot of data breaches, even coming from companies who have solid technical expertise. And these data breaches are a problem because we need data for AI, and if we want to build trust in AI, we need to have trust in the data we're using and in the way it is being used. We're also seeing some failures on the control around AI. Companies providing credit ratings without being able to explain the failures of their algorithms, gender bias in hiring, or racist computer visions. And these are only a few of the examples of problems that are coming because AI algorithms are not enough in control, don't have enough people in control of the way they are working. And we are also experiencing around AI and machine learning, which are new technologies. We are experiencing a problem in reliability. And we see that robustness is not on par with the robustness we achieve traditionally in IT systems. So we have a group, a list of reasons in different categories for which we could not completely trust AI. And this is why at Capgemini we've put trust on AI and at the base and as a foundation for our entire AI and data analytics portfolio. Basically, we believe that AI and data is very important for society, is very important for our future. We have a complete offer around the AI and data analytics, and it's based it is based on the 4 pillars which will bring trust in AI. So all our AI and data analytics portfolio is based on trusted data and AI. And the 4 elements are first positive intent, because we need to promote positive impact. We need to assess the impact of AI, and we need to show that it can be used also for the common good. We also need to improve trust, and especially improve trust in the fact that somebody is in control, that it's not just some kind of automated mechanism or some kind of deep algorithm who is controlling the system, but that there is accountability, fairness, transparency, and that people are in control. Also, we need to base AI on data, and if we want to get trust in AI, we need to have trust on data. So we need to protect data and to improve data quality. We need to make sure that data is used for the way it is intended to be used, and that it's of good quality, because if we don't have a good quality of data, we won't have good quality of results. And finally, we need technical robustness, because at the end of the day, AI is implemented in computer systems, which are run on a computer with algorithms, with hardware, with infrastructure. And we need to make sure that this infrastructure and the applications built around AI are reliable, resilient, and secure. And with AI, it's not just like it was with a standard computer system. It's different. We have new difficulties, but we need to make sure that the way we implement ML and AI is really robust. So the question is, okay, we've got this framework, we've got these four pillars for trusted AI and data, but how do we go from intent, from the principle to implementation? Because typically, when we look at the various frameworks on AI around the world, we see a lot of intents, a lot of declarations, a lot of principles, and that's good because that's a sound foundation. But what we miss today is a lot in how to actually implement that. And what we see a lot is very limited indeed. We see some initiatives around interpretability, around using some weak models in case we need strong transparency, of course around anonymization, GDPR compliance, and encryption for protecting data, and that's it. Basically, that's it. That's what we see generally is indeed fairly limited. And we believe that it's not really enough for building trust in AI. It's more a few things that are toward technicians, but not going to build trust more generally. And it won't clearly be enough for getting this trust that's necessary for bringing AI to production. So we've enriched the framework, and we've answered to the 4 pillars with a number of technical capabilities which are bringing the trust in AI. First, we believe that to go with all of this, we need some form of AI governance. So we mean to achieve control of AI globally at the level of the company, and to have a clear governance and clear control overall. Then for positive intent, we've got an offering on sustainable AI, because we believe AI has a strong role to play in combating climate change, and Vincent will develop more later. We also believe that we should have some social and people impact evaluation for any AI-based system, and that to help also build trust in AI, we should promote responsible use cases in favor of the common good. To have human in control, and that's a very necessary element to create this trust, we need to add bias detection, fairness, and also to have mechanism for making sure that we have people really in the loop, and that they are people which are responsible for the way the system is working, and that they are able to be to understand their responsibility and to exercise it. And for that, we need accountability, we need transparency, And we also need the auditability and reproducibility to make sure the system can be analyzed. Of course, it's okay to fail sometimes because everybody is failing, but we must have somebody who is in charge of correcting failure. We must be able to analyze, and we must be able also to understand beforehand to be able to anticipate failures and to make sure our model is balanced and fair. On data trust, we need to add data governance, and data governance encryption and are part of our data trust offering. There are some new technical mechanisms to make sure data is secure, data of quality, such as differential privacy and confidential computing. And finally, technical robustness is about making sure the system is secure, is safe, and that's the whole topic of applying cybersecurity to AI and data. And it's also how to apply various mechanisms for making sure you can push AI into production in a safe and in a sound technical way. And for this, we promote the usage of principles inherited from DevOps and Agile, extended into MLOps, which include a versioning model, include a CI/CD, so automation, which include testing a lot, and of course automated testing, which include having a responsibility of the people who are building the system for running it and for being able to achieve the security and reliability. So if you build a system, you're responsible that it's working correctly in production. And we also believe you need to have very strong monitoring and alerting. And all this is part of our MLOps offering. So in all, we've got a number of elements for answering each of the, for implementing the pillars. So that's just a matter of making sure your AI has some global governance, and then that you are able to implement the various elements, the various devices, the various designs, the various patterns, and the associated technologies to answer to the 4 pillars. And now I hand over to Vincent to develop more the topic of sustainable AI.
Thank you, Yannick. Indeed, to pursue what you just mentioned, there is a current debate within our society on the AI and the sustainability concern. You may have heard, some of you, this global feeling on AI is over-consuming the resources. So it is really key to lift the brake on adoption and harness more trust on these specific topics. So to do that, we are working with our client to make sure the benefits that provide a specific AI use case are far more positive regarding the cost of implementing this AI within a specific organization. So cost here means not only the financial cost, of course, but the overall externalities. It could be the environmental cost, the social cost, as we just presented before. So our approach basically is founded on 3 pillars. One is regarding the green infrastructure. So green infrastructure means how we can implement specific data platform and AI project to our customer side by integrating the specific cost of AI, meaning that how we make sure it is implemented in a resource efficiency way, how we think about how to locate the specific data regarding the carbon intensity cost of a specific data center, and so on. On the other side, we have also what we call the benefits and the gain of AI itself, which is the AI for climate action use cases. So here we are trying to promote regarding a specific sectors, specific organization, to calculate, to measure, to analyze how much we can leverage the reduction of a carbon footprint by implementing specific AI algorithmic. And last pillars is more focusing of how AI could help to be more environmental compliant. For example, many companies right now are used to implement CSR within their industry. They have to report a lot of information, a lot of data regarding these specific CSR challenges, and AI could also play a role in this specific environmental regulation. So if we go on the next slide, you will see how basically the challenge we are right now is how AI could help in the global sustainable development goals. This is our new matrix right now. We are entering in the decade of action. So we have all the society 17 goals, that some of them could be relevant to a specific organization. So I notice here some of them. Of course, we won't have the time to go too deeply on each of them, even though I will have a specific focus on 2 use cases at the end of the presentation. Here, the idea is to try to enter a bit more concretely in what exactly AI or data could help regarding these sustainability goals. So on the left side, you can see the supplier issue. For example, we have a lot of use cases in our client by implemented AI algorithm for allocation resource problem, for stock and inventory management that will lead to decrease waste, decrease the amount of energy use, fuel energy use within smart logistics and stuff like that. And then if you go on top of the matrix on the diagram here, you will see more how a brand could be more eco-responsible. Here we have many use cases to, for example, use AI to gather some specific content in the social network regarding sustainability issue, how also we can use data mining to build and design a new product by integrating this carbon footprint within the design process. And if you go on the right side, it's more about how we can use AI to build smart agriculture. We will have just after a specific use case, and at the bottom is more related to the investigator. We have now more and more regulation regarding how, for example, we can have loan that is dependent on how a company are tackling climate change, SDG, the SDG contribution and stuff like that. So AI could also help here. So if we go on the next slide, we have this specific use case we wanted to share with you. We are currently implemented a farm use cases by helping some farmers that can access some tailor-made advice to optimize their crop production. We are gathering some data from various sources to help them to put a specific amount of water, specific amount of nutriment and stuff like that to make sure the crop is going well, and to integrate this sustainability aspect within the overall process. And I share with you on the top right of the screen what are typically the SDG contribution of this specific project. Another thing we can notice on this project is we are going far more away of only the sustainability challenges, because by implementing this project, we also have include the specific local ecosystem of partners. So in the manner that include many other partners in this specific project, as Yannick just presented before in this global ethical framework. Then on next slide, you will have another example, which is actually forest management use cases regarding the bark beetles. You will see a short video that Yannick will play to give you an overview of this wonderful project. It is actually a project that is tackling SDG number 13 about climate change and the hurt of us. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for your attention.